Hello. Okay, so there's bad news and good news. The bad news is this nice lady died, and her name was Barbara Lucille Maxwell. And I don't know whether any of you knew her or not, but she was pretty old, I think in her 90s by the time she died. And that happened this fall. The good news is that in her will, she said that her estate would be divided equally between the Denison Public Library Endowment Fund and her church. And Alvin Bailey is the executor for the will, and so he had told me when this happened that it takes a few months for it to go through probate and get everything, dispose of the assets and turn them into cash to distribute and all that. But we did get the first disbursement, the main part of it. He had estimated that it would be around $250,000 for the endowment fund and an equal amount for the church. And we received a check for $200,000 and have deposited that over into the endowment fund, into the investments. And Alvin had estimated that sometime this winter, like maybe around February or so, they would finally be through working their way through everything else, and there would be a final disbursement of, we're estimating around $50,000, but it just depends on how all that goes with selling stuff. So this means that our endowment fund, that the principal in there, the corpus, is increased again. And I haven't looked at it today, but it is up around $1 million now for that one account. There's still the Charles Jones Trust over in a separate account. And as far as what that will mean once the rest of the money is deposited in there, if you figure around 4 to 5% yield, you can see about how many additional dollars that will give us every year for books and materials. And if you remember, the other thing was that in the city budget this year, I got one of the subscriptions moved out of the endowment fund and over to city funds. So that frees up about another $12,000 or $14,000 there. So I feel good about this. The price of books has not gone up very much, and it just means that we're in better shape as we go forward to keep buying materials. So is there any questions from anybody? Are there any questions from anybody? No? Okay, and so we don't really need to take any particular action on that. That's kind of a news item. Okay, since our last meeting in August, we get into the fall and the school year starts and things really begin to ramp up. And so we've been fairly busy through the fall. We've had really good attendance at the pre-K programs in the library. We've been averaging a little over 200 attendance a week in that. Had a lot of new people coming in, and so that's really encouraging. At a number of our special events, we had participated in a number of events, citywide events around town, as well as special events for the library. There's been really strong attendance on those. The one bit of bad news to share with you all tonight is that back in September, we were informed that our story walk installation at THF Park was demolished. We've had problems with vandalism out there. Usually it's been stuff that could be repaired, but in September somebody went in there with a vehicle, evidently, because there was tire tracks, and I mean completely wrecked it. beyond repair. So there is no story walk out there anymore. I did gather some information and passed on to my bosses about some other possible installations to replace it. It's very expensive. And looking next time for something that maybe isn't as aesthetically pleasing, but more durable. And of course, the person at another library where I was looking at theirs remarked to me, well, you know, they can't demolish it, they'll just spray paint it. So it's been a problem not just aimed at the library, but there's been problems with other vandalism out at THF. It's a sad thing because every time we've gone out there, everybody who's passing by always told us how much they really loved the story walk. And we had good attendance at programs out there and everything. So it was really disappointing. But it may resurface depending on funds. We had Master Gardeners do a Junior Gardeners program in September. We went to National Night Out, gave away books, and there's hundreds of people that come to that and come by the table. So that's real good reach. Our annual fire department visit was Sparky. Was also in early October, and we had, 78 kids and 65 adults, so it's 140 something, I guess. That's pretty good. It was a beautiful day, and the kids got to squirt a fire hose and everything. I didn't get to, but see, we did Fall Festival. Once again, you get hundreds of people coming through, stopping by the booth. We did Family Craft Night in October, Lunch and Learn in October and November. We were at the Eisenhower birthday out at the site. And then we have our book clubs. So we've been having a World War II book club, the Eisenhower Book Club, and that has a small group, a handful of people, history buffs who come to that. But we started a new one, and it's a murder mystery book club, and it's called the Downtown Murder Club. And the idea with that one is that we meet off-site at restaurants in the community at night so that people can go there after work. And we've had a really good response to that. So they had their inaugural meeting at Rustico, and then another meeting after that to discuss the first book was over here at the Deviled Egg Company in the vault. They're not going to meet in December. They'll meet again in January at Landon Winery. So if you look at Facebook, you'll see all these things on the website. You'll see them all on the calendar. We had our Monster Trail on October 24th, and we had over 300 people again for that. And so the other thing is in November, we got a new meeting space, and it's not quite operational yet. It is an enclosed booth, like the, remember what phone booths used to look like? It's kind of like that, only bigger. And so it has its own ventilation and lighting system in it. And the idea, and it's got soundproofing. So without having to go through construction of trying to build out walls and redo HVAC and electrical and everything else, which I'd been asking for and not getting funds for. It's like, aha, here we can do this. They bring it in and they assemble it. You just plug it in and it should be ready to go, except that the sensor that would automatically turn on and turn off the fans and lights, kind of like the lights here, is not functioning properly. So they should be back probably this next week to fix that, and we'll finally have it ready to go. It'll be something that people can reserve to have a private space big enough for two people to sit in there, like if somebody's doing tutoring, or one person if they just want to be able to have a quiet spot. It has a glass door on it, so there's no monkey business going on. and it looks pretty cool. The other new thing that we got is that Brian Hander donated a big full-size brand new display case to us. And that came and was pretty big to get in through the doors. But we got it in and got it set up, and the first display in there is on the history of the library. And Brian has a lot of material that is in storage. And so he has promised that every 2 or 3 months he will be able to come and change out the display, and we'll have a variety of different topics that we can cover in there. Let's see. So we ended the fiscal year at the end of September with circulations of 60, if I could read my own handwriting, 67,720, which more or less is a tie for the all-time high. We had 47,113 in program attendance, which is a record. We got, let's see, 70,623 in-person visits through the gates, which is also another record. And we were awarded the Munson Grant, again, for Read to Win. We got notification on that, and so we're happy about that. Upcoming events, the book clubs and the Lunch and Learn with TMC people will all resume in January. This month we have a program for seniors, a craft activity for them on the 5th. We have Christmas story time on the 9th. The reindeer's coming on the 13th. And then we have a Christmas concert and crafts on the 14th. Out in January, there's a new Paddington Bear movie coming out. So we're going to do a Paddington Bear event on January 25th. We're also, just this week, met with representatives from one of our vendors and with Carrie Huber from ISD, and we're going to be able to link up for reading challenges where the students will be able to sign up they're automatically eligible at the school, but it'll be linked together with the library. So I think that'll be a good thing. They can get like double duty, and it'll be good for the school, it'll be good for us too. So we're gonna try to pursue more things on that. And I guess that's everything that I have. Anybody have any questions? Zach?
Quick comment. I forgot until you talked about Monster Trucks. It's been a while. I got to go with 2 very dear friends and their little 4 and 2-year-olds.
Yes.
And it was all like family fun. The kids just loved it. And it's always great because y'all have to put out the park this year.
Yeah, that's our biggest single in-library event of the whole year. Although this Christmas concert will be close. But that is a big one. And it's fun. It's fun for everybody. It's fun for us. I know Jenny has come and flown the witch or something for us before. Yeah. Yeah, we really enjoy that. We actually are thinking about shifting the time on that because by the time we wrap up, it's still light. We don't want to make it too spooky because there are a lot of very little people that come to this. But we thought there's so many more cool things you could do if it was a little darker. So next year, I think we're going to try shifting the time back a little bit so we can still pick up everybody when they get off work, but not run it too late at night so that we can have a little more spooky atmosphere. Yes, I didn't mention that. We have a date fixed for that. It's February 8th. Glad you brought that up. This is something kind of like Comic-Con, but with more of a library slant, and to make sure that it's more family friendly than maybe some of the Comic-Con stuff gets a little risque. And we have guest panelists lined up already. We've been working with Parks and Rec to be able to bring in a food truck and a big tent. It hopefully will be a big thing. So there'll be a costume contest and a number of things. They've been running this at the Greenville Public Library for a few years, and it grew just exponentially down there. Whoops. So big that they had to take it out of the library and move it to the city convention center. And so we're hoping that this will be the first of something that'll be a big thing. None of the other libraries around here are doing this. So that'll give us kind of a jump on it, I think. That we'll have, we're going to have virtual reality games that they can play. We're going to have a lot of different things in there. So yeah, that'll be a big thing, February 8th. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I wasn't looking all the way out to February when I made my notes, but we may not meet again, depending on what we set up for our first meeting of 2025. It may not be before that happens, I don't know. Anything else? No? Thank you.